Alright Sega, you've gotten us hyped. Now don't fail us again. Sonic Frontiers is now less than 2 months away, and with all the gameplay and trailers Sega have been showing off lately, I'm very confident that we're finally going to get a good Sonic game, something that the fan base has been eager for quite a while now. And I think what's selling a lot of people on this game is the story. Past Sonic games haven't had a heavy focus on the story, usually consisting of stop Eggman before he destroys the world, that kind of thing. But now that writer of the IDW Sonic comic series Ian Flynn is being brought aboard, new direction is inbound, and because of that, Sonic Frontiers looks to finally be the turning point in the Sonic franchise we thought we'd never get. So today I'm going to be talking about why you can expect Sonic Frontiers to be the best Sonic game we've had in a long time.
Use the gear as you have done before.
Before we get started, I want to inform you that Sonic Origins finally got a patch, like 2 months ago. They squashed a bunch of annoying bugs that made the Sonic Origins experience a great deal less enjoyable, particularly in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which was easily by far the most broken game in the whole collection, is now a lot more fun to play through, and they added a meaty list of sound test codes you can enter in the secret level select screen, so I'll be showcasing those in the channel sometime soon. Anyways, with that said, let's get back to Sonic Frontiers. So here's the story we have so far. In search of the missing Chaos Emeralds, Sonic, Tails, and Amy suddenly get sucked into a dimensional portal. Sonic wakes up in a strange digital world called cyberspace and finds himself separated from Tails and Amy. He manages to escape cyberspace and arrives back in the real world on Kronos Island, one of the 5 beautiful and majestic Starfall Islands. A mysterious wilderness sprawling with ancient ruins, dangerous new enemies, and adorable inhabitants called the Coco, who have a deep connection to the Starfall Islands. Upon arrival, Sonic is encountered by a disembodied AI voice who guides him to collect the Chaos Emeralds in order to destroy the Titans, which are the massive guardians of the Starfall Islands. Sonic figures this is the only way he can save his friends, so he sets out to do the AI's bidding but receives pushback from a strange cybernetic girl named Sage, who tells Sonic that his reckless actions endanger the world and that he must leave immediately. Sage is in complete control over all the enemies in the Starfall Islands and uses them to attack Sonic and the Coco when he refuses to leave. Now it's up to Sonic to find his lost friends, destroy the Titans, and discover the secrets of the Starfall Islands. We also know that Knuckles and the Master Emerald are involved somehow, since we saw them in an animated prologue teaser back in June, and in an interview with Sonic Team President Takashi Iizuka, he said that once Sonic gets to the second island in the game, Ares Island, he finds Knuckles is trapped, even though he wasn't part of Sonic's group coming to the Starfall Islands, and Sonic needs to figure out how to save him. Eggman's tech is repeatedly seen across the Starfall Islands, so we know to some extent he'll also be involved in the game. In addition, the most recent Tales 2 episode included some very smart dialogue towards the end that leads into Sonic Frontiers, and I'll link it below for you to watch. But man, this is a heck of a story, even for a Sonic game. We haven't had a story this complex in over 10 years, and on top of that, it's the Blue Blur's first open world game. It's very nice to see that Sonic Team is trying something different after they realized what a fallout Sonic Forces was. Heck, Eggman isn't even the main focus this time. Regarding official news, we've seen nothing of him yet. That alone should automatically be reason enough to buy Sonic Frontiers. I love the level of ambition Sonic Frontiers is going for, and I'm very excited to see where this game will take us in the Sonic series lore-wise. Ian Flynn is a stellar writer, so I have no doubt the story will be phenomenal. There are still many unanswered questions we have regarding the story. What are the AI's true intentions? Who is Sage, and why is she trying to get Sonic to leave the Starfall Islands? And most importantly, what secrets are the Starfall Islands hiding? We'll have to wait and see. But now let's move on to where Sonic Frontiers truly shines. Critics who have played Sonic Frontiers at recent gaming conventions like EGX and Gamescom say that Sonic controls the best in Sonic Adventure, with abilities like the Drop Dash from Sonic Mania and Sonic Adventure 2's Bounce Attack, which I thought was pretty cool. Actually, speaking of Sonic Adventure 2, the official Sonic website released an advertisement saying you can get the soap shoes from Sonic Adventure 2 for free in Sonic Frontiers if you subscribe to their newsletter by January 31st, 2023, so be sure to go do that if you want the shoes. I'll put the link down below. Anyway, Sonic can now also parkour on walls, which he hasn't been able to do for quite some time now. He starts out very slow so you can upgrade his speed, but in due time Sonic becomes really fast and it feels very fluid to play. On the other hand, however, there's the cyberspace controls, which I'll get to in a minute. Keep in mind that these are just the critic statements, and I can't really tell you how Sonic Frontiers plays until I have it in my hands. But honestly, I'm okay with that. 95% of the general audience greatly enjoyed the Sonic Frontiers demo, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy the full game. After all, anything's better than Forces, right? Graphically, this game looks visually stunning. The open world looks very textured and realistic, and the game runs at a solid rate of 60 frames per second. That is if you're playing on the PlayStation or Xbox versions. The Starfall Islands seem to be expanding classic video game tropes into full open zone islands, with a technological motif running through all of it. Grassy Kronos Island, Sandy Ares Island, and they just revealed the final island in the game, Chaos Island. Could we finally discover the origins of the Chaos Emeralds? It's possible the island's name Chaos just to go along with the Greek naming system for the islands, but this can't possibly be a coincidence. This island must have been deliberately named Chaos Island for some reason, whether it's related to Chaos himself, the Chaos Emeralds, or both. But we'll have to see. One recurring graphical issue we've been seeing a lot lately are the frequent and sudden pop-ins. Now, this is normal. Every game has pop-ins to load in the next thing on screen, but the amount we're seeing with Sonic Frontiers is way too much. Playtesters are saying the pop-ins can be very distracting and make the platforming elements feel very out of place in the environment. I really hope Sega can fix these pop-ins before release, because the amount we've been seeing makes the structure of this game look very insecure. The day and night cycle finally makes its return for the first time since Sonic Unleashed in 2008. According to Takashi Iizuka, the environment and enemies change significantly during the nighttime, and you get to experience a lot of cool things you otherwise wouldn't be able to do during the daytime. Iizuka also said the weather changes as well, which can impact the environment just as much. I'm very excited to see what new things will happen when the weather and or the time of day changes. Sonic now has a brand new upgradable combat system with a variety of new moves, including the Side Loop, which is a band of light that mirrors Sonic's tracks that can be used to attack enemies, solve puzzles, and acquire collectibles. New moves can be gained by defeating enemies, which when destroyed will drop skill points which can be used to purchase new attacks. Typical Sonic combat usually consists of just boosting through enemies and homing attacking, so I'm excited to have new options to fight strategically and take down enemies with stylized efficiency. Sonic's controls can be adjusted with sliders in the settings so that players can mix and match options to best fit their playstyle, and if you prefer more straightforward gameplay, you can select auto combos to perform multiple attacks with a single button. The enemy variety is also very intriguing in this game. These are not your typical Eggman badniks, and their uniqueness only complements their intimidating design. The bosses each have different attack patterns that require you to plan your moves accordingly to find the best way to destroy them. Defeating bosses rewards you with portal gears that are used to unlock cyberspace portals scattered across the Starfall Islands. Once you enter Cyberspace Portal, you will need to complete a short bite-sized boost-style level in order to earn Vault Keys, which are needed to unlock the Chaos Emeralds so you can transform into Supersonic and destroy the Titans on each of the Starfall Islands. Every Cyberspace stage has 4 goals, and each goal rewards you with 1 Vault Key, so if you're good enough, you can complete 2 Cyberspace stages to get all the Chaos Emeralds and take down that Titan. However, considering there are 10 Cyberspace stages on each island, I feel like it's not enough of a challenge, especially because they're each about a minute long. Supposedly you lose the emeralds every time you go to a new island, but do you really need 10 cyberspace stages to get all the Chaos Emeralds? I guess it makes sense that they're trying to account for the amount of space on the island so that the player doesn't have to travel a long distance to find a cyberspace portal, so as long as the difficulty increases throughout the cyberspace stages, then I'll be fine with it. There are other ways to acquire the Chaos Emeralds too, but more on that later. I was very surprised with how early they're introducing Supersonic into this game. Usually in Sonic games you don't activate Supersonic until the tail end of the game to fight the final boss, but now it seems like we're going to be playing Supersonic right at the start of the game to fight Kronos Island's Titan, Giganto. I like that. It's a new approach to Supersonic boss fights that we've never seen before, and anticipating the Titan battle on each island while you collect all the Chaos Emeralds will definitely keep the player engaged. Giganto is mere Shadow of the Colossus-esque in his size. It's almost like fighting Dark Gaia, the final boss of Sonic Unleashed, and considering these titanic bosses should get more and more challenging on each island, I can't even imagine what the final boss would be like. Speaking of the final boss, I've been thinking, they can't just use Supersonic again for the final boss, can they? Think about it, would it feel accomplishing to fight a final boss with the form that you've been using throughout the entire game? Doing this would severely undercut the purpose of Supersonic, and the whole point of this game is to make Supersonic important to the story again. I really don't think Sega's gonna pull a stunt like that, especially not with Ian Flynn on board. I think Sega has something else up their sleeves, and actually the story trailer kinda hints at this. We can see that Sonic's arm is glitching with the same cybernetic effect all the enemies have, almost like Sonic's being corrupted. What if Sonic slowly becomes more and more corrupted as the game goes on, and eventually becomes so corrupted to the point where he becomes completely cybernetic? I won't list any specifics of how this might tie into the story to avoid potential spoilers, but if they were to introduce a new superform specific to Sonic Frontiers, that would be awesome, and it would add a big incentive to buy this game to be able to play exclusively with the new superform. As for the name of this new superform, I think it'll be called Cybersonic. It just makes the most sense, but we shall see. In the meantime, let's continue our conversation about cyberspace. The biggest problem with the cyberspace stage is that the controls totally suck. For some reason, the Sonic team decided to create brand new physics for cyberspace instead of carrying over the open world controls. Critics who have played the demo say it's very hard to go fast in cyberspace, and that Sonic feels very sluggish and slow. But the worst offender by far is the rehashing old level layouts. They literally copied and pasted level layouts from past Sonic games like City Escape from Sonic Adventure 2 and Dragon Road from Sonic Unleashed. Sonic Team says that the cyberspace stages are supposed to resemble Sonic's memories, but so are Sonic Generation stages. I'm not really sure how to feel about this with other content creators posting their varying opinions everywhere, but personally it doesn't really bother me since the only other 3D Sonic game I played is Sonic Forces, but I can see where longtime fans are coming from. These are levels they've already experienced multiple times, and while there are confirmed to be some originals of the cyberspace lineup, I don't know, it just feels like laziness on Sonic Team's behalf. However, while the layouts are mostly direct copy-paste level designs, these look brand new. The backgrounds look so cool with the glitchy effects everywhere. Chemical Plant now has a red sky, Green Hill has a sunset version, and literally everything is now floating in mid-air, raising the stakes significantly when playing cyberspace. I do hope Sega listens to the fans so they can do something about the cyberspace controls, but at the end of the day, the open zone islands are the main focus, so either way I'm going to have a good time. Speaking of the open zones, the Starfall Islands and Sonic Frontiers provide the player with plenty of activities to do and tasks to complete. Solving puzzles and time-based challenges will reveal hidden parts of the map, as well as reward the player with red seeds of power, which can increase Sonic's strength, and blue seeds of defense, which speaks for itself. Side quests can also be completed to save Sonic's friends, and some will reward you with Chaos Emeralds. Each lost friend has a set number of memory tokens that need to be collected in order to free them from capture. You can also collect lost Coco around the Starfall Islands and bring them to the Elder Coco, who in return will either increase your speed or grant you with a higher ring capacity. Once you unlock your maximum capacity of 400 rings, collecting said amount will grant you the power boost, which allows you to go super fast and leaves a blue trail of light behind you while you run. There's also a fishing minigame with Big the Cat to relax if you want to break from the high-speed action, and you can go to him to purchase in-game items with his fish tokens, which are required for playing the fishing minigame. It's very nice to see that Big the Cat is getting some love again after being a complete drag in past Sonic games. Heck, he's even in Sonic Prime now, Netflix's new original TV series, and I will be making a video about that as well, so be sure to subscribe if you want to be notified when I post it. Alright, it's time to talk about the music. I purposely say this part for the end. First up, we have the main theme, I'm Here, composed by Tomoyo Otani and sung by Mary Kirk Holmes from the band 2 Octavia. And oh man, this song is a banger. I'm Here has one of the tastiest guitar riffs the franchise has had in a while. Otani even said it's using a 9-string guitar. No wonder the song's so good. The lyrics are very powerful and carry a strong meaning when completing the game, according to Ian Flynn. I'm very excited to see where I'm going to hear the song in the game. Next, we have Sonic Frontiers' ending theme, Vandalized by 1OK Rock. While the lyrics of this song don't really carry any meaning since this wasn't created for Frontier specifically, it was instead licensed by Sega, it's still absolutely amazing, and it's very catchy. This song really gives you the feeling that you accomplished something, and I can't wait to listen to it in the credits while I reflect on my journey. Finally, we have the main theme of the Starfall Islands. This is the music we hear when traversing the open zones, and it's nothing like the previous 2 songs. It's a powerful medium consisting of only piano and violin, and it's so beautiful. Makes me want to cry every time I hear it. It's a somber piece that does a really good job of setting a serious tone, pairing wonder with caution, like Lava Reef Act 2's theme from Sonic Mania. Overall, I love how soundtrack-heavy Sonic Frontiers is going to be, and I can't wait to hear more from its OST. This new genre of music the franchise is entering is a big step in the right direction. The scale of Sonic Frontiers is what's really selling me and a lot of other people on this game. Every good quality trailer and gameplay showcase we've been seeing lately keeps looking better and more promising than the last, and the Sonic fanbase now has a much more positive outlook on Sonic Frontiers because of that. Heck, Sonic Frontiers was the most talked about game at Gamescom, go figure. And thanks to the recent Tokyo Game Show in Japan, where the new Sonic Frontiers trailer was shown, Sonic is now finally popular again in its country of origin, and for once Japan's actually proud that they own the Blue Hedgehog, which is a huge step up for the franchise. If this game does well, Sonic's popularity could skyrocket, and it'll finally rise to high ranks in the gaming world once again, so I'm praying for the game's success. Now, a lot of you might be asking why I'm so confident in this game's success when all the other past Sonic games have been failures, and most importantly, why I'm going so in-depth into a game that, in the end, most of you won't even care about. Fair point. Personally, I think Sonic Frontiers is going to do well because of its open-world format. Open-world games tend to appeal to a much larger audience because that style of gameplay provides you with more freedom and allows you to progress at your own pace. The problem with Sonic games in the past 10 years is that the levels are very linear and boxed in and require a lot of quick reactions and level memorization to actually be good at the game. And while this may be fun to Sonic fans, it can be very frustrating to casuals because some people will rage quit if they die in the first attempt. Whereas with Sonic Frontiers, you can forge your own path in the open zones, and if you die, it won't because you have a skill issue, it'll instead be by legitimate means. Now granted, Boo's gameplay is returning for cyberspace, but because those levels are much shorter and start out easy, the player will become accommodated to the controls over time, and I think they'll be great pace breakers that separate the length of the open zone a little bit. Also, the sheer amount of content in Sonic Frontiers is ridiculous. The file size on Steam in particular is pretty massive. According to Morio Kishimoto, director of Sonic Team, he said that Sonic Frontiers will be 20 to 30 hours long. Most Sonic games take 3, maybe 4 hours to beat, and I'm just being nice here. On top of that, completionists will get an extra 3 hours of content to experience in order to 100% the game. That's 60 hours in total, making Sonic Frontiers the most content-packed Sonic game of all time. Wow, Sonic Frontiers really has some titular meaning, doesn't it? I'm very interested to see how they cram so much content into this game, considering that Sonic is like 3 times as fast as the average platforming character. No wonder this game took 5 years to make. This is probably going to be the first Sonic game to have more 3D than 2D, which honestly makes this game worth buying for that prospect alone. I am concerned about the repetitive platforming on the Starfall Islands. We're seeing a lot of homing attack chains that lead into grinding rail sections and stuff like that, but you know what, I don't think I'm even going to notice, because I'll just be having too much fun. Overall, I have high confidence in Sonic Frontier's success, and it continues to exceed my expectations by an exponential amount. Even Masahiro Sakurai, the director of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, is enjoying it, and if he enjoys the game, then it's good. So I've got a very good feeling about Sonic Frontiers. Do I think it'll be the best Sonic game of all time? Yes, I definitely think it has the potential, so as long as Sega doesn't mess anything up and they let Ian Flynn do his thing, we could very well have the greatest Sonic game of all time in our hands. Hopefully the 5 years of development and playtesting time this game has had will pay off. Like I said, anything's better than Forza's, right? Anyways, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to play Sonic Frontiers on launch date, as well as upload my own piano rendition of the main theme of the Starfall Islands, so if you don't want to miss that, be sure to subscribe. And with that, I'll see y'all next time. Also, the game's getting free Monster Hunter DLC.